We were taught from a young age to be proper, polite, kind, to say thank you, please, you're welcome. But within all those lessons, we kind of became people pleasers without even realizing it. Now, I put up a question on Instagram a few days ago of what is the hardest thing to say? And I got a lot of answers that involving I love you, I'm sorry, I was wrong. And one of them, it really resonated with me, and that was no. So I decided to make a video on something that I thought not a lot of people emphasize enough. The art of saying no, it has a huge debate in self-development and realizing who you are, what's your potential, and picking your no's and your yeses. So this is what my video is going to be about today. My video is going to explain why is it hard for us to say no, what are the fears behind it, but most importantly, how to say no effectively without feeling guilty. Now, if you are new to my channel, don't forget to introduce yourself in the comment section below. My name is Olympia. I have a degree in cognitive neuroscience and art history. And what I like to do, I like to dissect that pretty little brain of yours to see what makes you tick, but also makes you talk. So let's see why you feel guilty for saying no. Like I've said in my previous video, it's not the act, it's not the fact that you say no that you're afraid of. It's not the event of saying no you're afraid of. It's the feelings and the emotions that will come after you've said the no. So why are we afraid to say no? First of all, we don't like being criticized. Our brain doesn't like to feel uncomfortable. And when we say no, we think that the person that we're saying no to will think badly of us, will think that we're selfish, will judge us. Now, all these things are projected to how we feel. So if I say no, I will feel selfish. I will judge myself harshly. The other thing why we are so afraid to say no, or why we feel guilty when we say no, is that we suffer from FOMO. And this is something that I've talked about in my codependency videos. I will link them below. That FOMO is basically fear of missing out. So we think that if we say no, we're going to give up on an opportunity that may happen if we do whatever that was asked. So saying no, for example, to going out for drinks because you feel tired, afterwards you may feel guilty because those drinks may lead to meeting your Prince Charming, or socializing and networking, or missing on a career opportunity. All these what if scenarios, or what I like to call that we what-ifize a situation and stick those what if this happened, what if that happens, all this kind of goes into the guilt process. So what happens? We get kind of stuck on this guilt trip cycle. So we say yes and we regret it that we didn't say no, but then we say no and we regret it that we didn't say yes. So we're caught in this vicious cycle of how to say no without feeling guilty. And also, of course, we want to feel busy. We want to feel needed. Now, according to how we were brought up, whether we were with a codependent parent, whether we were an adult child, or whether our childhood was relatively healthy, all these things bring on some emotional baggage. So sometimes people feel that if they seem busy, if they get to tell the other person, oh, I'm so busy, I have this to do, I have to go and do this, I have to help this person do this, we feel important. We feel that we are needed, that we are wanted. And self-care, which is something that has exploded in the last decade, focuses on this idea that you are busy, but you are busy for yourself. And it's this boom of self-care with this idea of saying no and feeling guilty that clash. Because how can you engage in some self-care if you keep saying yes to every invitation that comes around you? So here's the gist of the video. How do you say no without feeling guilty? First of all, no matter who you say no to, whether it's your boss, whether it's your coworker, whether it's your partner, your family, it seems that the closer they are and the higher they are up in the hierarchy ladder, it's more hard for us to say no. And that can create a lot of overwhelm, a lot of emotional stress, and which is why I've put for you a free guide of 6 ways to underwhelm when you're overwhelmed. They're all backed up by science, just to help you tackle this specific problem of how to say no without feeling guilty. So first thing to do is that you have to accept this. Is so simple, guys. You have to accept that you can't do everything. You are not enough. One person cannot satisfy the needs of everyone. So you're going to have to start picking your yeses and picking your nos. Picking your nose. I just got that. In order to spread out your time and have time for yourself. And by accepting the fact that you are not physically incapable, mentally, emotionally enough to satisfy everyone's yeses, that will help you soothe your guilt trip. Because when you know you can't do it, you can't feel guilty about it. Now, the second method, my controversial secret method, which I love to do with so many areas in life so many problems in life that we're dealing with, is what I call the movie popcorn technique. So basically, grab a popcorn and start replaying that scenario, the one that you felt guilty, and if you said no in your mind. And then instead of you watching yourself as Olympia or whoever, do a reverse psychology and think that if the other person said no, would it really bother me that much? Would it really, if the other person said, I am too busy at the moment, I have this to do, thank you for offering, thank you for suggesting, but I'm sorry, I can't help you at the moment. If a person literally came up to me and said that, I wouldn't judge them as harshly as I judge myself for saying that no. And if you manage to implement that and do that every time you feel that pang of guilt, I can promise you that it will soothe it, and eventually minimize it. Because here's the thing, that most people that are having difficulty saying no are usually the people that are very empathetic, or the people that love to, like I said, people pleasers. So when you reverse psychology and you see things from the other person's side and you get some perspective, which is what my channel is about, learning how to mind shift your mindset, you can really give yourself some slack and realize that if you wouldn't judge that person, what gives the right for the other person to judge you? My other method, again, a bit controversial, don't actually say no. Don't use the word N-O. Sometimes we associate a word with a specific meaning, a specific feeling. Psycholinguistics have gone into an extensive amount of research showing how specific words stimulate part of the brains that in turn bring out certain emotions. So if the word no brings out negative emotions and guilt, there are so many other phrases you can use. You can say, I am not capable right now. I do not have enough time. Thank you for offering, but I will have to refuse. There are so many sentences that you can use instead of saying the word no that can help you soothe your guilt, but also give you that no that you deserve. Another thing that you can try is, especially according to who you're saying no to, tell them the truth. Chances are, if they're a person that you're really close to, if you tell them honestly, but not in a way that you are apologizing, but saying how you truly feel at the moment, people are much more inclined in taking in a no that is honest and kind than a no that is aggressive. So if a person asks you, can you help me finish this project at work? If you turn around to your coworker and say, you know what, I actually wish I could, say it only if you mean it. I actually wish I could, but right now I have my project. I have promised this other person to help them on their project. I have deadlines. And people are usually very understanding, especially if you tell them what you are going through. And lastly, what I want to talk about, because a lot of my channel is about emotional manipulation, sometimes, harsh truth time, even if you tell them the truth or even if you tell them no, they may actually make you feel guilty. And even though, okay, you can't actually make someone feel something, but they can employ tactics that will kind of push you towards the guilt part. Now, of course, one tactic is guilt tripping, obviously. So they will remind you of times they've helped you and why you are almost obligated to say yes and help them. Another one could be self-pity, or what they want you to perceive as self-pity. They will start whining about their life, how they don't have any time, and especially if you're an empathetic person, a parentified child, a codependent person, these people are especially susceptible of going in and becoming the savior of someone else's life. They hear the person whining, they go into that fix-it mode. Now, these are things that you really have to watch out for, because these are ones that will fuel the guilt trip, the guilt that you may feel with that no even more. So really go through my videos of emotional manipulation and abuse and see if that person that's asking you for things all the time that you feel guilty when you say no, if they're employing some kind of emotional manipulation tactic. Now, I hope these ways helped you. I'm all about mind shifting your mindset. So if you really take in these techniques, take in the mindset behind these techniques, start working on them and seeing things from a different perspective, you will be able to say no very soon without feeling guilty. And remember, guys, the people that honestly love you, that want you, and are healthy in your life will always accept a no from you. So don't forget to help a girl out by smashing that subscribe button, make Mama Algorithm love me by giving me a huge thumbs up, ringing that bell for your weekly Thursday videos, but most importantly, sharing this video with someone who needs to know how to say no without feeling guilty. And that's it, folks.